jobs. Well, for more on the generational trends in the workforce, we turn to Michael Saltsman, who was once a field economist at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He's now a research fellow at the Employment Policies Institute. EPI is a nonprofit, nonpartisan research organization which focuses on issues that affect entry-level employment. Michael joins us from our Washington newsroom. Michael, welcome to Bloomberg News. Good to have you on.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Michael, you just heard Adam Johnson's report, and let me ask you, is there a straight cause and effect link between what we're seeing from high school seniors, as Adam referred to, and seniors?
Well, yeah, you know, there has been a lot of talk about the generation gap, and I think I would talk about a short-term cause and a long-term cause. I think in the short term, business is tight. Employers are trying to do more with less because they've seen the cost of hiring employees go up 40% because of the higher minimum wage. And so I think they do that by cutting back on customer service, or they look for someone that's more experienced to fill the job who they don't have to pay to train. And so a lot of times that means a more experienced senior might get the job instead of a teen. I think some of the longer-term effects of this are that more teens are choosing to leave high school and go to college, and so their labor force participation is on the decline. And you have more seniors that are staying in the workforce longer. They have the option to do so, and they have the incentive to do so, and so their labor force participation is on the rise.
Michael, we were just looking at minimum wages over the past decade or so, now standing at $7.25 an hour. Does that also mean that employers, if they're going to hire somebody, are going to hire somebody, as you said, with more experience, if it's going to cost more?
Well, it might mean someone with more experience, or unfortunately, it might mean not hiring someone at all. You know, we have a new study out that showed a 7% decline in teen employment just because of the minimum wage increase. In Texas, which you mentioned earlier, there were almost 27,000 fewer teen jobs because of the higher minimum wage. And what you might see is that you see employers choosing to go to more customer service or more automation. And so when you used to have someone bag your groceries for you, now you're going to bag your groceries yourself, or maybe you're going to clean your table yourself instead of having someone do it for you. So sometimes it's someone more experienced, and sometimes the job goes away for good.
But Michael, these statistics are very disturbing. Unemployment rate for 16 to 19-year-olds remains above 25%. For those ages 16 to 17, the unemployment rate is close to 30%. Have we seen numbers this high before?
We haven't. The unemployment rate got really high in the early 80s, but they're very high now. They're at record highs. In fact, in some of the western states, you see teen unemployment averaging near 33, 34, 35%. And there are complex reasons that go into it. But again, you look at these western states where you got to pay someone $8 or $9 an hour for an entry-level job, and you can't blame employers for trying to figure out, how am I going to do more with less? And maybe I'm going to do more with less by hiring fewer teens. And so teens are unfortunately sitting on the couch this summer instead of getting that important first job experience.
Well, speaking of that, Michael, I wanted to ask you about this. What are the implications down the road for these teens who aren't getting that job experience? Are we going to have then a wave of workers entering the workforce who are not as prepared?
Yeah, there's been talk about a lost generation of teens, and I think it is something we should be worried about. I mean, teens that don't have a job right now miss out on this invisible curriculum that comes from a first job, how to work with customers, how to work with a manager, time management, all these sorts of important skills that teens are missing out on. Unfortunately, economists have shown that teens that don't have a job now are at a higher risk of unemployment in the future, a higher risk of earning lower wages, and even a greater chance of dropping out of high school or winding up in the criminal justice system. And so there are a lot of serious implications that policymakers need to be considering.
All right, Michael Saltsman, Research Fellow, Employment Policies Institute, joining us from Washington. Michael, thanks so much. We appreciate it.